Okay, so this is the game we're playing here. We've got all new brake hoses. I got all 4 of them. The only place I could find that had them was the main distribution center in Blaine up in the cities for AutoZone. Had all 4 in stock. Riley's wouldn't even sell the rear ones. And I think Advance, they were just all over the place. But, hey. We got hoses, so that's cool. Because the hoses on here are probably 30 years old. And that's probably the issue with this one. But we're going to do them all if we're in here. Mostly because I'm going to break all the brake lines, so I'm going to need them anyway. I also got 2 short 30-inch lines. And those are going to be for the axle lines going across the rear axle, one for each side. And then I got another spool of copper. I got some left over, but I didn't know if I had enough, so I grabbed another spool of copper. Because the way this band works for brakes is you got 2 lines coming back from the front, and as you can see, they coated these in like oil and stuff. Like, these lines are mostly coated, and I'm sure it blew above the gas tank in the one spot it's not coated properly. Freaking figures. Anyway, it comes in this junction box here, and we're gonna hope we can get our 2 lines here out of the junction, because they go from here under the tank and back, and one goes obviously to the hose for the driver's side, and one goes over there to the hose for the passenger side. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna probably pipe cutter or nips cut them off here, get a socket on there to get those off. Maybe if I can finagle them out from under the gas tank, that'd be great, so they don't rattle. But we'll see what we can do. Probably cut them off there, whatever we can do to get them out of the bracket, so we can reuse the bracket for mounting. Now I'm gonna run them. I'm just gonna snake them up alongside the edge of the tank here, just above the fuel filler. I'll snake them back that way and then back towards the factory spot, and that's what we use the copper line for. Anyway, I sprayed everything with PV Blaster earlier, a little bit ago. But yeah, look at that. It's just that brake fluid's just eating the paint up there off the frame rail. So that's fun. Clean that up, spray that down. Oh, good stuff, good stuff. Anyway, that's the game I'm playing. I'm not going to record it because this is going to be a bitch. And I'm just going to sit here and die. I'm going to be in pain this whole time. Hopefully it's not that bad. We'll see. Yeah. This is going to be our biggest fight, is getting these out of the junction here. The rest of it can be replaced. You know, if I maybe have to replace the wheel cylinder, so be it. And okay, I was looking at the passenger rear, and I'm like, what's all that fluid around there? It looks like the wheel cylinder's blowing back there. No, it's the PB Blaster I just sprayed. Never mind. Yeah, anyway, if I have to replace wheel cylinders, those I'll be able to get, because they're the same wheel cylinders. First gen, second gen, probably third gen too. They're probably all the same. So, yeah, I'm gonna get these 2 lines out of this junction, get them off on the soft lines back there, get rid of those old soft lines, and place all the brake lines back there. And then I'll maybe think about looking at the ones going up the front. And maybe I should probably ignore them and not think about them, or they will blow. It's too late. Anyway, I'm gonna suffer through that. Told you guys. It's probably a good thing anyway, because I don't have this. They have them opposite sides, like different sizes, and I don't have this larger size anyway. So we're gonna eliminate that junction box, and we're going to probably run all the way to the front. I'm gonna go look up there and see how that looks. Here's my 2 lines right here I gotta get off. That looks more promising. Alright, I got updates. Good updates, actually. Here's the line for the left rear. Here's where it blew apart right there, which was precisely where it clamped right there. It actually blew apart inside that little metal clip because it probably held moisture. Got that off on both sides. In fact, I even got the bleeder off. And so the bleeder is 5/16. This line was 3/8 on both ends. And I'm saying that because there's all kinds of different sizes. I've deleted this science right here. There's the one we broke off. I got that one out, and that one is just round. I could probably vice grip that one and it would break or come out, but Doesn't matter. I've deleted this science. But I did, however, get up to the front junction block where all 4 lines, like the 2 fronts and the 2 rears, connect up, and then the one going into the master 2 or whatever it is. Got those to both come out. That's terrible to get up there from below. So that's where we're at. Got those off, figured out which one is which. So the one that's center pointed towards the engine is the left side, and the bottom one, which is like kind of back here that connects to that junction, that's for the passenger side. Not that I don't think it would matter really at all. So it doesn't. I don't think it matters. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong and if this thing actually makes a big difference here. The one up front might, because what does that thing do? Regulate how much goes to each line? I think this is more of just a junction, literally. I'm gonna look at it a little more, but I'm pretty sure this is just a junction. The one up, what do they call those? I don't remember what they call those. Whatever. That one probably actually regulates flow between, like, 80% fronts, 20% rears, how much of which is which. This one I don't think actually does anything because it's in the rear already. So he's gone forever. Anyway, that's good. We don't have to replace that wheel cylinder. And these were done they're not old by any means. I gotta take that adjuster out, and I gotta clean him up and lube it up and get it free because it's stuck right now. But there's pad life left on those. Fortunately, they're grooved. But this drum, there's some life left in it. I'm gonna run these rears. I've got new drums, but I don't want to put them on with those pads and score those drums. So we'll just run this, and we'll keep running this, at least for now. We can always come back and do pads later, but I will clean up the adjuster. And I don't have to touch that for now because it looks okay to me. Alright, so here is all of the old brake line for the entire rear brake system pulled off of the front junction box. They were all of them were factory lines except the 2 going to the rear wheel cylinders. That's pretty good for a 33-year-old vehicle. This oil coating they put on it really helped a lot, and a lot of this line is just fine. There's just a couple spots that didn't get enough oil coating that eventually rotted out. But we're in here, and mostly because we couldn't get the lines out of the little junction there, we're doing them all, and it's not going to be a bad thing, that's for sure. Alright, so I was just doing my checking here. I got my Chilton manual out. I wanted to verify which side up here at the front proportioning valve went to the left versus the right, and I was weary about this guy anyway. It can't just be a junction, because what does this thing do? So what this is actually is a height sensing proportioning valve for your rear brakes. So depending on what kind of load you have on your suspension, this adjusts how much rear brake you get. I'm going to tell you right now, this thing did not work at all. This thing is completely seized anyway. So this was junk. But how necessary is it is my question. Now, my van will never see a trailer, will never see a huge load on it. So is this really, really necessary in my case? I'm going to say I should have it. I think I'm going to, for now, not run this. Mostly because this is a little unobtainium. And like I said, it wasn't working anyway. This no matter, in fact, I broke this trying to get this free. It was stuck, and now it moves. But if you pull this up here, the valves inside here, the little push-it rods, they don't move at all. They're stuck where they're at. So this thing didn't work anyway. But that being said, I'm gonna assume this is stuck in a no load position. And the brakes, well, they did work. They worked just fine. Now, I believe we're going to have roughly 50-50 braking, which what this thing does is under light braking, it will, adjust your brake to, 50-50, and then as you press in the brake, you're like, let's say you got a loader, you're leaning forward, as you come to a quicker stop, it will adjust how much brakes you get. I think it adjusts based on the height. This hooks into the suspension and it adjusts based on the height is what it does. We're gonna try run without that, and I did some looking at some of my other vans. My 93 has one of these. The 94 doesn't, because the 94's got ABS. So this applies to non-ABS models. I don't know what the newer ones do in that case. I need to go. 97's got ABS, so it wouldn't have it. I know the 02's got ABS, so it wouldn't have it. The 05 might not have ABS, and the 98 might not. I'd have to double check, and we'll go from there. And I have to see what they've got, because they probably have a different setup, it would be my guess. ATVs just drove by. Anyway, that's what this thing actually is. So for those wondering, here is that height adjusting proportioning valve on an 05. See, it's got this rod that connects to the axle, and then it pushes into there, and that adjusts your brakes for your height on a newer 4th gen. I gotta go find my 98 and see what my 98's got here. So we know what the 1st and 2nd gen's got. We know what the 4th gen has. Let's see what the 3rd gen's got. Okay, so both of my 3rd gens do in fact have ABS. So that would probably be why I've not come across this before and had an issue. Yeah, it's because these ones both have ABS, so they don't have the height adjusting valve. But my 02 does, and so does my 93 and my 90. Or my 05 and my 93 and my 90. Interesting. So I think I'm gonna bypass it for now, and we'll see how the brakes feel, and I'll do some road tests on it. We'll just see how it feels without a load. Otherwise, I'll have to see about locating that. And I mean, so that's not the end of the world if I run the lines without the proportioning valve, and then find out, based on performance, my brakes in the rear lock up too easily, that I need it. All I gotta do is just nip the lines, just rebend them. That should be no big deal. Should be no big deal. So we're gonna start without it, and I will do some driving and some road testing on that, and just see what that feels like. Because like I said, the brakes felt fine before they popped, and it definitely was not working. Looking at that valve, it was not doing anything. So we're gonna, and I can't be the first guy that's had to bypass this. If anybody knows more about these proportioning valve for the rear brakes on your 1st and 2nd gen Caravans, let me know. I'm love to hear more information on it. And just from what I'm reading, I mean, I get the function of it. It's to monitor or like regulate how much pressure goes to your rear, so you don't have, you don't prematurely like rear brakes lock up and slide. Like under, like let's say you're towing something or you have a heavy load in the back, and it adjusts based on that to maintain the correct ratio to have proper smooth braking for non-ABS vehicles. Alright, so got all of the lines run. So this is what I got going to each wheel cylinder. I used the pre-made lines. I think those were 2 30-inch lines. And then I've got my copper lines. I got the one going into here. I reused all of the fittings on the 3/16 line. I reused off of the old lines. I was able to get most of them to come free, and I was able to just put them on there. And I got this one here, which is bent on there, goes up over there. and then they both run along the fuel tank and then all the way up to the front through the factory clips. The only part that's not in the factory clips is right above the fuel tank. And I don't have them quite secure back here. I gotta come up with some way to secure them so they don't rattle around. But they're in there for now enough to get the brakes, you know, hopefully bled. At least get fluid going back to the rears here. So I'm gonna work on that a little bit, probably. But yeah, I got copper line run all the way to the front. So I got the rear brake torque part here, and I'm moving the self-adjuster, trying to get it, you know, out to where it sits. I'm like, well, I've had to move the self-adjuster so much. It was adjusted all the way in for one. And then I'm like, well, what the hell? And I go here and I look at this, and there's the spring's gone. There's no spring left. So that's going to be our problem, I guess. So I'll have to pull that apart, put a new holder for the new spring for the adjuster. That sucks. Well, I got the adjuster freed up on the driver's side, and I got my new adjuster cable spring in that I got for nothing at U-Polar Parts. I don't remember if you remember a couple months ago. Actually, I believe it was still snow on the ground. In the back of one of those, it was a second-gen Caravan, there was a Duralast box, had a brand new drum, brand new wheel cylinder, all brand new springs. And I still got that box downstairs, and I want to use the new drum, obviously, for this at some point when I redo the brakes, but for now, I'll just use the new spring, because that's what I need. But now we got an adjuster spring that works, so freaking sweet. I just had to get these springs off real quick, throw that on, we're good to go. Well, I decided even though this adjuster does spin, it's a little less free than the other one is now that it's lubed up. And so I'm gonna show you how to take these off quick. So it sits in like this in this case. And what I do is on the side opposite of the threads in this case, this side, I just pull the shoe forward enough to slide this back. And once you slide behind the pad, all you gotta do is slot it forward and then it drops down like that. And then you just do this reverse. You put this up like this, lock it on this side, and then you just slide the shoe forward until you get that locked in. And just make sure you do it at minimum, you know, size. Alright, got my rears all bled and adjusted. About ready to put the tires on it. And then I'm going to just drive it with the rears real quick and feel that. I know I probably got air in the front and that one's locked up, but I just want to do a lap. And I'm going to pull it in the other way now that I got brakes and I won't drive through the damn garage. And so we'll be able to do the fronts. But I think I'm about done for the night. It's looks a little darker in person, but that's all rolling in hot. So then it's getting dark, but we have got the rears all done. Okay, so we're doing about 40 miles an hour on a dirt road. We're gonna hit these brakes. We're gonna see what they do. Stops freaking perfect. Definitely still got more fronts than the rears, which is good. And the rears didn't slide at all, so they didn't lock up on dirt. So I think we're okay. We'll see how that does on tar road here in a little bit, but brakes feel great. We got some kitties. We got a little kitty in the road. Kitties are safe. We are all good. No, brakes feel freaking just fine. Like I said, I don't have a load in the vehicle and it won't be ever hauling a load, so I don't think it's needed. I did, however, I found one of those height adjusting proportioning valves. I found one and I did order it and I have it just in case I need it. Or in the future if I ever need it, because they seem like they're unobtainium, at least the OEM ones, and I haven't yet found an aftermarket one. So if anybody knows an aftermarket part number for those self-adjusting or height adjustable proportioning valves, let me know, because I'd be interested in them, because I'd rather, you know, keep OEM style stuff, but you know, if I have to live without, I have to live without, like right now. So we're up to speed here. We'll go to 55 and we'll stop. And remember, I do got the front left is sticking, so you got to keep that in mind. Yeah, that noise is coming from the front left where it's sticking, but the rears feel just fine. And I was looking at the rears when I was doing them. I'm pretty sure they weren't even working at all before. They were both so far out of adjustment, and with that height adjustable proportioning valve stuck, I wonder if it was stuck in a spot where it didn't really give them much pedal to begin with. But neither of them looked like they were working very much at all. Especially the rear right where the adjuster was broke, that one wasn't working for sure. And then the rear left where the adjuster was stuck, that one probably wasn't working very much either. They were way out of adjustment, both of them were. So I don't even know that they were working much at all before. They're definitely working now. I can feel them. I can also feel that front left one's stuck. I can feel it, the wheel shake. So we're gonna do our 1 mile drive back home, and then we're gonna park and get ready to do the front brakes. And we're gonna do the rotors, the pads, calipers. I got everything. Granted, I got everything. It was off that red 90 Caravan that I did a few videos on that I took some other parts off of. Yeah. Comes to a good stop, and the rears don't, go into a slide like some people suggest it may happen. That might happen when you're running a heavier load, which makes sense. That's what its job is. So if you have to get by without, you take that thing out and you're not doing any heavy driving, it looks like you'll be okay. Now, don't take my advice for that. Do that at your own risk. But it seems fine from what I can tell here, just driving it. But like I said, I do have the part coming in the event that I need it, or it feels like I need it. But I don't think I'll need it. I think we'll be fine without it. And I mean, it's for non-ABS systems too. And I mean, if you know how to pump your own brakes when you're have to stop abruptly, that's a good thing to learn, is how to be your own ABS. You don't just pin the brakes and hope for the best, because you'll go into a slide. You want to pump those brakes. That'll help come to a stop quicker, and it'll keep your vehicle in control, or keep you in control of the vehicle. So, and that's something I learned very young when I was, learning to drive, is how to pulsate your brakes. I think it kind of helps being in the snow and the wintry weather, where you go into a slide much easier. You got to know how to do that. But anyway, I think very successful rear brake job, in which all we did was rear run all of the lines. Then I cleaned up both adjusters, and then I added one adjuster cable and spring to the other side and just adjusted them. And then we also did new hoses. So that's freaking basically a complete rear job, besides the hardware, which the hardware in there looked fine. It's got plenty of life left, and I've got new hardware, or I can get, I think I've got I got 3 drums actually. I got that one brand new one in box, and then I got 2 nice drums. And then so we just need to buy a set of pads, or brake shoes. I mean, the hardware in there looked all good, besides that one adjuster cable that was snapped. So, but I don't think we'll need that anytime soon. Those pads got plenty of life left in them, and everything seems to work, so we're going to leave it at that. We might have a problem here. Well, I took the wheel off, and I looked at this, and I'm like, well, that looks kind of weird. Here's the calipers we've got. Naturally, they've acquired some surface rust, but they're present nonetheless. But the styling's a little different. Now, these calipers were reman, which is why they acquired the surface rust like this, is that they weren't coated. And these rotors that match these, I've got them marked left and right. And they've also acquired a layer of flash rust. These don't have that little extendy bit. Okay, whatever, maybe they redesigned the pad. But it's a little bigger. And I think it's going to hit this bracket. So something tells me that either that's going to interfere with the wheel. It might not interfere with the wheel, but I needed this bracket for sure. to be able to use that equipment. Uh-oh. Aha, I figured it out. I have factory 14-inch wheels and a factory 14-inch front brake system. This is for a factory 15-inch brake system, which that red 1990 Dodge Grand Caravan must have had 15-inch wheels. So I've got a nice set of 15-inch brake hardware that probably fits that, right there. So we've got ourselves a problem. I gotta look around. O'Reilly's can't even get this stuff in anytime soon, so they can get the pads tomorrow, but I can't even get the rotors nearby within the next 2 days. Let alone the calipers that are also different. Shit. I'm gonna look at my other auto parts choices. AutoZone's done me some favors with regards to this 90, so we'll see what everybody else has got. It might be a take it apart tonight, go drive 1,000,000 miles to get brake parts tomorrow. Yay! Well, guess we're not doing brakes tonight. The nearest place that has them is, in fact, AutoZone in Superior, Wisconsin. That is like 170 miles away. So, yeah, and I didn't even bother with pads after that, because I'm not gonna. This rotor is trashed. The back side. This side is not so bad on the front. The back has got a nasty groove in it. I'm not gonna ruin a new set of pads on that. That's quite unfortunate. Well, I guess what I might do is see if I can salvage this caliper, see if what's wrong here, see if it's the caliper or it's just the hose. So I don't have to buy calipers. I'm not gonna. But these pads are like, there's ain't nothing left here. And actually, looking at it, we're closer on this side. Like, we're metal on metal right now, actually. Just about, if you look right there. But up here, we've got a gap. So that tells me that this slide pin is stuck right here. Most likely. That slide pin is stuck in. So this is probably our issue. You know, it's funny. Sure as heck looks like the only slide pin on this brake setup here. It's a weird caliper. And I bet you our slide pin is seized in there. Interesting. Well, we'll do a disassembly anyway, and then we'll be ready. And then I gotta find the best hardware to get shipped in.